Welcome to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive.
It's good to be here.
Today is Friday, February 13th, 2026. And yeah, Friday the 13th. Honestly, for New Zealand Rugby, this whole month has felt like a script from a horror movie.
It really has. One the fans just can't wake up from. Between the chaos in the boardroom and this coaching carousel, it's been a nightmare.
It has. So before we get into the absolute madness firing a legendary coach, the, frantic hunt for his replacement, and a conspiracy theory that is just wild, I have to tell you. If you want to stay ahead of the scrum on all this global rugby news, you need to subscribe to Rugby Obsession right now. Don't just listen. Hit that button.
You really do. Especially with the news we're expecting next week. You'll want those notifications on.
Absolutely. So let's unpack this. Our mission today is to make sense of the earthquake that just hit the Southern Hemisphere. We're looking at the massive shakeup in New Zealand Rugby.
Right.
Specifically, the hunt for the new All Blacks coach after Scott Robertson's, shocking dismissal.
Razor is out. It still sounds so strange to say it.
It does. After all that hype when he finally got the job.
Exactly.
But we're not just looking at the firing. We're looking at the scramble to replace him, where Razor might land, because he is moving fast, and this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
We have to talk about this wild conspiracy theory involving the Springboks mastermind, Erasmus.
It sounds like something out of a movie, but when you really look at the strategy behind it, there's a terrifying logic to it.
Okay, let's start there. The vacancy. The throne is empty. Scott Robertson was dismissed.
Okay.
What is the official line from HQ? You don't just fire a guy with his record.
Well, New Zealand Rugby, the NZR, they stated quite clearly that the team, and this is a direct quote, weren't on track for the 2027 Rugby World Cup.
Not on track.
Yeah.
That just feels so vague. Is that corporate speak for we panicked?
I think it's a bit more calculated than that. You have to remember, we're just over 18 months out from the World Cup in Australia.
Right.
And this decision, it came after a really extensive review of the entire 2025 international season. It wasn't just about wins and losses. They looked at all the data breakdown efficiency, defense structures, and just decided the trajectory was flatlining.
So if you're not evolving, you're dying.
That's the thinking. They pulled the trigger now because they felt if they waited another 6 months, it would be too late to fix things before 2027. It's a preemptive strike.
Trading stability for a tactical reset. Okay, so there's an urgent search. Who's making the call? Is it just a bunch of suits who haven't touched a rugby ball in 30 years?
Thankfully, no. It's a mixed committee. You have the suits, of course, David Kirk and Steve Lancaster. But, and this is significant, you also have former All Blacks Kevin Milamu and Dane Coles.
Oh, having Milamu and Coles there, that matters.
It's huge. It means that locker room has a voice. Dane Coles only just retired. He knows exactly what the modern player responds to.
Right. He knows who can talk the talk and who can actually walk the walk.
Precisely. Having that player perspective is meant to prevent a cultural mismatch this time.
Okay, panel set. But who can they actually pick? The list of people qualified to coach the All Blacks has to be incredibly short.
It is surprisingly small, and that's by design. The panel set out these strictly non-negotiable requirements.
Oh, yeah.
2 main criteria. First, obviously, you must be a New Zealander.
Standard. We don't do foreign coaches.
Correct. But the second one, this is the killer. You must have international head coach experience.
That changes things. You can't just be a super rugby wizard anymore.
Nope. And that creates a massive bottleneck. It just narrows the field so much. And because of that, we've already seen some huge names rule themselves out.
Like who?
Joe Schmidt, Vern Cotter, and John Mitchell, all officially out of the running.
Schmidt is a surprise given his history.
Yeah.
So who's actually left standing?
We are effectively down to 2 frontrunners, Dave Rennie and Jamie Joseph.
Okay.
They tick every single box. Kiwis, and they've run international programs. Rennie with Australia, Joseph with Japan.
So how do you differentiate them if you're Dane Coles on that panel?
It's a real clash of styles. Dave Rennie is known as a culture builder. He took a very fractured Wallaby side and, built a real brotherhood.
Player first.
Very much so. Jamie Joseph, on the other hand, he's seen more as a hard-nosed tactician. What he did with Japan, the precision, the game plans to beat Tier 1 nations, that shows a brilliant strategic mind.
So do you want the guy who hugs you or the guy who outsmarts the opposition?
In a World Cup cycle, you probably want the tactician. But, the All Blacks brand is all about culture. It's a toss-up.
But wait, I read something that made me actually laugh out loud. The old guard. Please tell me they aren't going back to the future.
This is where it gets fascinating. And maybe a little desperate. Reports are suggesting that NZR actually reached out to former coaches Ian Foster and Sir Steve Hansen.
You're kidding me. They fired Foster to get Razor. Then they fire Razor, and now they want Foster back. Or Hansen. That sounds like a bad breakup text at 2 in the morning.
It suggests they're terrified of getting this wrong again. They literally asked the duo to apply. It just implies they're looking for stability above all else.
But would they even do it?
That's the big question. After how they were treated by the media and the board, I suspect the answer would be a very polite, or maybe not so polite, no.
And there are a few other names floating around, too, the dark horses.
Yeah, you have Warren Gatland, Wayne Pivac, and Kieran Crowley. Technically, they all fit the bill. Kiwis all have been international head coaches.
But they're outsiders in this race.
Very much so. It's not even clear if they've applied. Gatland seems pretty entrenched in Wales, and Pivac and Crowley might not be seen as that gold standard NZR is hunting for right now.
So, Rennie, Joseph, maybe a ghost from the past? When do we find out?
According to the broadcaster Martin Devlin, who's usually got good intel on this stuff, the announcement is expected next week.
Why? Wait, if it's so urgent, why not announce it today?
It's all about strategic timing. NZR reportedly held off because they didn't want to overshadow the Super Rugby opening round.
That makes sense. Let the rugby be the rugby for a few days.
Exactly. Let the fans enjoy the games, then they'll drop the news.
But speaking of moving fast, Scott Robertson, he's not exactly sitting at home feeling sorry for himself, is he?
Not at all. The New Zealand Herald is reporting he's moving incredibly quickly to find his next job. The man has energy to burn.
Where is he looking?
Everywhere. His reps have apparently reached out to the Queensland Reds.
The Reds. But
Yeah.
didn't they just hire Les Kiss?
They did, but apparently Razor's camp inquired about the head coach job anyway. It just shows how eager he is to get back in the game.
That is aggressive. And I saw Harlequins, too.
Yep, over in the English Premiership. His name was put forward for a director of rugby role there. Danny Wilson left, so there's a vacancy.
So just for anyone who might not know, what's the difference there? Head coach versus a director of rugby.
Good question. A head coach is on the grass running the drills. A director of rugby is more of a GM. They handle recruitment, budgets, the whole academy system. It's the bigger picture.
But there's a catch, right? There's always a catch. This clause.
Ah, yes, the restraint of trade. This is a crucial legal detail. His severance deal with NZR says he cannot join a Tier 1 international team for 12 months.
Okay, define Tier 1 for us.
The big guns. The Six Nations teams, England, France, Ireland, and so on, and the Rugby Championship teams, South Africa, Australia, Argentina. He is legally blocked from coaching any of them for a full year.
So he's in a timeout. But I heard there's a loophole.
There is a very specific break clause. He can join a top team, but only once the All Blacks have played that nation this year.
Oh, that is so specific, like a conflict of interest timer. So once the All Blacks play, say, England, he's free to sign with them the next day.
Theoretically, yes. And that brings us to the Scotland scenario.
Right, because Gregor Townsend is feeling the heat.
Townsend is definitely under the cosh, as they say. The Scottish Rugby Union is rumored to want to change.
So could Razor go to Scotland?
The hurdle is the schedule. The All Blacks don't play Scotland until November.
That's a long time to wait.
Exactly. You can't fire your coach now and wait until November to hire his replacement. That's why Franco Smith from Glasgow is the front runner there. Razor's just time barred.
So if Tier 1 is blocked for now, what's left for him?
Tier 2. Robertson has made it no secret he wants to coach 2 different teams at a World Cup. It's on his bucket list.
He's collecting experiences.
Precisely. So he might look at a Tier 2 nation, think Portugal, maybe the USA. World Rugby often helps fund high-profile assistance for those teams. It'd be a perfect way for him to keep his hand in.
Before we get to the wildest, most paranoid part of today's deep dive, I just want to pause. If you are enjoying this breakdown of coaching chaos and legal loopholes, do yourself a favor. Hit that subscribe button for Rugby Obsession right now. We do this every single week.
Seriously, do it. You need to be in the loop.
Okay, let's get into the conspiracy. This is the juicy stuff.
This comes from Gregor Paul at the New Zealand Herald. And even for rugby, this is a spicy theory.
The Springboks conspiracy. Lay it on me.
The theory is this. Erasmus hires Scott Robertson to join the Springboks coaching team later this year.
Wait, hold on. The former All Blacks coach, the guy who knows all their secrets, joining the old enemy, joining the Springboks.
Yes. And the goal isn't just his coaching. It is pure psychological warfare. The whole idea is to spook and unsettle the All Blacks.
Because the World Cup draw suggests they're on a collision course.
Exactly. They're destined to meet in the quarterfinal. Imagine the narrative. Imagine the tension in the All Blacks camp if they look across the tunnel and see Razor in the Springboks box.
Oh, that would be absolutely rattling. For the players who love him, seeing him with Rassie would be like seeing your dad hanging out with the school bully.
And that's why Gregor Paul says it's plausible. He calls Rassie Rugby's most creative and innovative thinker. Rassie loves chaos. He loves getting inside the opposition's head.
It's straight out of his playbook.
It absolutely is. But it gets deeper. There's an accusation about a leak.
Right, when Razor was fired. The news broke so fast.
But do you remember who broke it? It wasn't a Keeley paper. It was the Irish Independent. And they had remarkably precise details.
Which is weird. How would an Irish paper know what's happening in Wellington before the local press?
That is the million-dollar question. And the conspiracy theory suggests Rassie Erasmus was the source.
Rassie? How would he even...
Well, remember, Rassie coached Munster in Ireland for years. He has deep connections there. The theory is that he somehow plugged into the New Zealand network, found out about the firing, and leaked it to his Irish contacts to create instability.
That is next-level puppet master stuff. Pulling strings halfway across the world just to mess with New Zealand.
It is. Now, to be clear, Gregor Paul himself calls this a Hollywood longshot and far-fetched. He admits it's an outrageous idea.
But isn't that the point of it?
Exactly. The fact that we are even talking about it shows that it works. Rassie has a reputation where people believe he's capable of anything. It creates this narrative where the All Blacks are looking over their shoulders. It's paranoia.
And paranoia loses you World Cups. Speaking of tactics, there's a huge irony here with the Crusaders, Razor's old team.
Oh, this is great. One of the source notes mentions that the Crusaders are now looking to replicate Springboks tactics.
You're joking. The team that defined New Zealand rugby is now copying South Africa.
According to Will Jordan, yep. It just shows how interconnected everything is. The Crusaders are looking at what Rassie's doing and trying to copy it.
Which connects to what Eddie Jones said recently about the game shifting towards guerrilla warfare.
That's a fascinating term. What does he actually mean by that in a rugby context? He means the game has moved away from the traditional All Black strengths, that beautiful flowing running game. Guerrilla warfare, the style of England or South Africa, is about disruption.
Right.
It's slowing the game down, making every ruck messy, winning scrum penalties, kicking for territory. It's ugly, it's disjointed, and it's incredibly effective at stopping teams that want to play pretty rugby.
So if the game is becoming guerrilla warfare, it creates this massive dilemma. Do they hire a coach to play the old way, or do they hire someone to play this new, ugly style?
That's the question. If they hire Rennie or Joseph, are they asking them to copy the box or to beat the box by being different? Because if you try to outmuscle South Africa at their own game, you lose.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Why should you care about all this?
Because the World Cup is won and lost in these moments. It's about the psychology, the stability, years in advance. What happens next week will define their trajectory for the next 2 years.
It's the foundation. Get this wrong, and 2027 is gone.
Precisely. And if Rassie really is pulling strings, the All Blacks are fighting a war on 2 fronts.
So I want to turn this over to you. We've laid out the facts, the candidates, the wild theories.
I am so curious to hear what people think about the Rassie angle.
Exactly. Question for you. Do you think the Rassie-Razor conspiracy is genius, or is it total fiction? And more importantly, who do you think should be the next All Blacks coach? Are you Team Rennie? Team Joseph?
Or do you think they should beg Hansen to come back? Leave your thoughts in the comments or reviews. We want to know who you'd pick to lead the team out of this.
Okay, let's wrap this with a quick summary.
New All Blacks coach is coming next week. Watch for Dave Rennie or Jamie Joseph. Meanwhile, Scott Robertson is on the hunt. Maybe a Tier 2 nation, maybe a director of rugby role in England.
And the shadow of Rassie Erasmus looms over everything, possibly leaking, possibly plotting, and definitely living rent-free in a lot of heads in New Zealand.
It's going to be a fascinating few weeks.
If you don't want to miss the update when that coach is named, you have to subscribe to Rugby Obsession.
Yeah.
We will have the breakdown as soon as the name drops.
You will not want to be the last to know.
Thank you for listening to the Rugby Obsession Deep Dive, and we'll look forward to you listening to our next episode.